There is reportedly beef between EVPs in AEW, and a big name is hesitant about coming over to the company. This is this first story for today's wrestling news and rumors, and it's a big one. A big name is hesitant about going to AEW because of infighting amongst EVPs in AEW. There is apparently smoke to the rumors of heat between some of the executive vice presidents in All Elite Wrestling. There have been rumblings on social media for over a year that some EVPs are no longer on speaking terms. The EVPs in AEW are Cody Rhodes, the Young Bucks, and Kenny Omega. So I'm assuming they're not talking to Cody anymore, the Bucks or Kenny. During a recent discussion about the AEW product, Wade Kell and Jason Powell confirmed that there are issues among some of the EVPs, and Powell said that some would be a difference maker for AEW has been hesitant about signing with them because this person has heard the same rumors. Keller said there's going to be a book written someday by some of the EVPs or someone else closely observing, and we're going to learn about a lot of dysfunction. We're going to learn that what a very short honeymoon period there was between certain key people in the company who aren't even talking to each other anymore. I think we're going to find that out. I know there are people in the other wrestling companies saying the Bucks and Cody and Kenny, it's not going to be long at all before they want to have nothing to do with each other. The honeymoon period is going to be short. It seems like it is. It seems like there's some disengagement and people going off into their own that is showing up in certain ways. Powell will go on to say, if that is not happening, they need to clear up that misconception. I do think it's happening. There's a would-be difference maker who could go there and has that opinion that there's all this infighting, and this person for that reason is hesitant to go there. Now, they don't name anybody, but the two biggest names out there are Samoa Joe and Daniel Bryan. So it seems like they could be the guys hesitant about that because they don't want to go into a disastrous kind of work environment and head up by the EVPs here that can't even get along with each other. Now, I'm assuming these three guys are okay and their beef is with this guy right here. That's the only thing I can assume between the four EVPs that are there, but you can just tell how disjointed the actual product is. Now, on Jim Cornette's podcast, he was going to say that the way QT Marshall will go on to say that the way AEW books their matches is through group message and text messages, which is an absolutely ridiculous concept. They're not even in the same room together discussing it, having a big discussion. It's a lot harder to have one of those big discussions over text rather than in person. Them doing it like that is absolutely ridiculous. That's why the show is kind of all over the place sometimes, and they drop storylines. Check out the Problem with AEW video I dropped a few weeks ago. Really go into detail about this stuff, but infighting between these four men and is causing hesitation from a big name that could sign with AEW. So this could be hurting them a lot. It was a tough thing going in because it's a wrestling company ran by wrestlers. It's a tough thing. Egos get in the way and all that stuff. Everybody has their different opinions on certain things when it comes to professional wrestling, how things should be booked, how things should be presented. So this is a problem you're going to run into with a lot of people at the top rather than one guy in Vince McMahon who calls the shots. Here, it's four guys who kind of call the shots along with Tony Khan. So it's a lot of people in the kitchen there going into this whole AEW production, how they TV and everything is rolled out. So we'll see how the story progresses and where it ends up going. Maybe one guy leaves the company, who knows? A lot of things can happen, but we'll see if anybody big does end up signing with AEW, even though they don't have space for the roster for anybody else at this point. So this is the next story here, and it's same story as yesterday, or continuing on the same story as yesterday. WWE's current plan for Zelina Vega's return. And right here, that she is at this time plan is to bring her back to the main roster and not NXT. There's no specifics as to what she would be doing. I don't know if they should be managing again or would she be an in-ring competitor. She could be used very well in the women's division. They need more women on the division who are obviously good on the mic, have characters and all that stuff. And she's definitely one of those. So she can actually prosper heavily in the women's division, especially on a Monday Night Raw, something like that. Do they put her on the same show as her husband, Aleister Black? Do they put her on SmackDown, or do they move Aleister Black to Monday Night Raw in order to keep them together and then have her in the women's division there to help out there, and Aleister Black hopefully get on a good run on Monday Night Raw? It'd be interesting how this all plays out. Her coming back after all the issues she had previously. We covered this yesterday in our wrestling news and rumors, and this is just more confirmation that she's coming back and it's a main roster, not an NXT. I kind of wish we would have put her on NXT because that's such a good women's division. If she was going to come in as a wrestler, go in there and really establish yourself in terms of WWE there as a singles competitor, and then go up to the main roster eventually. But we'll see what happens. It's a developing story. We'll see when she decides to come back. Will she be re-debuted with her husband, Aleister Black, when he re-debuts with his new character? We could also see that happening. So there could be a lot of different ways they can book her and move her in there if she is a manager, or she's a manager and an in-ring competitor at the same time. I think that'd be a good mix to have her manage Aleister Black and have her in-ring having feuds, having storylines, having matches. I think it'd be a good solid thing for her, and she'll be really showcased a lot because she'll have 2 segments each show if she's on every show. Next thing here, WWE wants fresh faces on Raw. SmackDown star may be switching brands. This has to do with Aleister Black. There's talk of another shakeup in WWE as Vince McMahon is looking for fresh faces on Monday Night Raw. WrestleVotes is reporting that there's been talk backstage recently about the Raw roster needing some fresh faces. Noted that there's been talk of Damian Priest getting a bigger push and Aleister Black moving over from SmackDown. Black is about to return after being on the sidelines for several months. Ironically, Black moved to SmackDown last October as part of the WWE draft. The feeling is that now with Randy Orton being in a tag team, with Matt Riddle and AJ Styles teaming with Omos, the Raw singles roster is a bit weak now. True story. Drew McIntyre, Braun Strowman, after WrestleMania Backlash, I doubt they will still be feuding against Bobby Lashley or whoever the champion is. I doubt the mixture of those 3 will still be together and feuding past WrestleMania Backlash. There's nobody else that really matches up against a champion of the likes of Braun Strowman, Drew McIntyre, or Bobby Lashley. So who do they bring in? Could they give Damian Priest a massive push? If this is a massive push for Damian Priest, it would probably include Money in the Bank for Damian Priest, not just him building his way up, because doesn't have enough time for them to build him up properly to get him to that spot. So does he win Money in the Bank? Aleister Black, does he move to Raw with Zelina Vega? Does that happen? Because they want to keep him together. Also, they have a star in Aleister Black. So if they do move him to Raw, that means they want to push him heavily because they don't have a lot of singles guys right now to take on a champion the likes of a Lashley, a McIntyre. So who do you move forward? Really, Damian Priest makes sense. I think more of a mid-card. I think he'd be a guy who would take the title off of Sheamus, and you could bump Sheamus up because I think Sheamus is really, really underrated and underappreciated, especially over the last year of his body of work. I think he's done a tremendous job, and I think he deserves a shot at the championship more than he did previously. Now, I think Damian Priest will be better served winning that U.S. title, holding on to that for a bit, working with it, and then eventually moving up to the WWE Championship. I don't think they should shotgun it really quickly. And again, Money in the Bank is more of a heel thing anyway, so I think a heel should hold that. Makes more sense. Aleister Black could be interesting. Does he come, show up Money in the Bank, and win Money in the Bank there? We could see that happen as well. So there's a lot of interesting things they can do with the roster, but they definitely need to shake up Raw. They need a complete overhaul of Monday Night Raw to save it, to be honest with you. That's a whole nother story. But it's good to at least hear that they want fresh faces on Raw and shake up Raw roster, because it definitely needs that, but it needs an overhaul. But at least we're going to get a shakeup. But guys, that's the wrestling news and rumors for today, May 14, 2021. Appreciate you guys for tuning in. Remember to drop a like on this video, hit the chair in the corner for it hits you first, and sub to the channel. And I'll catch you guys in the next one. Stay tuned for tonight after Friday Night SmackDown for our Friday Night SmackDown review. Thank you guys for watching. If it doesn't work for you, don't have to do the job.